9 months ago, I had never picked a tomato straight from the plant, or saved an overripe, super juicy tomato from going to waste, just because it had fallen to the ground. Before I came here to work at Blue Hill, I thought I knew what cooking with the seasons was all about. But I hadn't yet walked among the vines, or seen the incredible variety of things growing, or actually touched the soil. I didn't yet understand how crop rotation and growing techniques affect the flavor of fruits and vegetables. I was guilty of constantly looking for what I believed was the perfect tomato, round and red with no blemishes or cracks or signs of pests and insects. But tomatoes can be so many things. Tiny, huge and yellow, pink and sweet. Tomatoes can even be broken and ugly and taste perfect. Working with Chef Dan Barber has taught me that imperfection is part of working towards perfection. That many crops like tomatoes are more than what we think we know them to be, and that as chefs, we have the responsibility to broaden the idea of what food is and what perfect means. I've learned how to make dishes that encapsulate things like the tomato second, fruit with blemishes and cracks, and in the process show how valuable and delicious they can be without wasting them. So, this is a dish that I made earlier this month. The majority of tomatoes I used were soft and ugly. I blended them and strained them into a tomato water, which we seasoned and set into a jelly. We saved the seeds from the center, took what parts of the flesh were good, and used those to garnish the jelly. We finished it with wasted sourdough bread and basil oil. But even better, we can use seconds in simple homemade dishes. Just throw them in a pot with a sweated onion and good olive oil, leave them to cook until the water evaporates, and you have a rich tasting sauce, which you can leave chunky or blend it until it's smooth. This summer, as I was heading into the kitchen from the vegetable field, I noticed 2 enormous great white tomatoes that had fallen to the ground from heavy rain and were going to spoil. I decided I would rescue them from being wasted. They were huge and kind of rotten on one side. Carrying them inside, I passed a visiting family who looked at them and were totally put off by them. But then just as I got to the kitchen door, another family stopped me. The mother said, "That's going to make the most incredible tomato sauce." So how is it that one family didn't even see what I was holding as a real fruit, and the other saw them as more valuable than what's readily available at the supermarket? As a culture, we have come to accept the supermarket tomato. Tomatoes that are bred for uniformity and yield. Tomatoes that are sometimes grown thousands of miles away in denuded soil from plants that are pumped with water to make them weigh more and grow quicker. Picked when they're not ready and lacking in any flavor. This idea of what a tomato is follows consumers to farmers markets as well. At a market in upstate New York, I noticed even among a wide range of heirloom and hybrid varieties, a big bin of tomato seconds. They were a quarter the price of the perfect tomatoes at the same farm stand. Why is something perfectly tasty worth less based on appearances? Why is a second considered a second in the first place? If a tomato second is valuable to a cook, why shouldn't we pay farmers fairly for it? What if tomato seconds were brought into supermarkets? Would we become used to seeing them? My hope is that more and more chefs can lead by example, that we as cooks can educate people by exposing them to delicious and unexpected crops and dishes, that we can plant the seed of new ideas so people can think more consciously about what it takes to grow tasty food responsibly. Thank you.